In previous videos we've gone through and put the musical alphabet together. We went through, looked at the tones and semitones, between which notes they were. We looked at sharps and flats, how they fit into it. But I want to show you one other way, which is actually slightly more accurate of the way it really is. A little bit harder to draw, but I'll show you how it's done. So up on the whiteboard here, we'll just come and we'll put some lines. So just like the other musical alphabet, every time we cross a line, we're going up one note. But the way I want you to think of this is, the note is actually where the line is. So for example, that would be the A. B would be located here, then C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts it back again, A, etc., all the way across. Now the reason it's done like this is, each of these notes is actually an exact sound. It's a certain note or certain frequency or pitch, if you want to determine it. Whereas when you're going to change from one to the other, I'm going to go across two lines, for example, from C to D. Remember we called that distance when you go there a tone. But I can actually go part of the way between notes, and they refer to that as microtonal, or in between notes, I've heard people say. We don't need to worry about them for this level at all, but I just wanted to point out this is another way of writing it. These lines in between here, that for example would be where the A sharp is located, or we can call that one B flat. And this one here would be C sharp or D flat, etc., all the way across. Now the reason this is actually a good way to do it is, each of these sounds can be represented by an exact frequency. And remember we talked about frequency previously. It's the speed at which the sound vibrates. There's a little bit more to it, but that's the basics of it. So for example, this A here might be 220 hertz. Now Hz is the symbol they use, which means the number of times per second. This A up here would be 440 hertz. Now you can see there's a relationship between those. Each one of these has a certain amount to it, and I'm not really worried about that yet. But if for example, if I wanted to go from an A to an A sharp could be just, it's not, but it might be say 230. So we could go in between there. We could step up from 220 to 230, going 221, 222, 222 and a half. There's all these in between, and that's got to do with tuning your instrument as well. So that's why when you represent the musical alphabet, this is actually a good way to do it. And just remember, when you go from one to the next line, that would be a semitone. But if you go across two places, that would be a tone. So that's an alternative way of writing the musical alphabet.